Hey guys, welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Andre Siggers, and this time we're joined by Ash Paulson and Tom Arnold to discuss the fact that Star Fox Zero was delayed to next year. So let's get started. Alright guys, so Shigeru Miyamoto recently announced via Facebook, or Nintendo's Facebook page, that they are delaying Star Fox Zero to next year. Apparently, even though it is basically, according to him, ready to go this year, it's not in the state they wanted to be quite at, and so they are delaying it to further polish the experience. And he explicitly mentions three aspects of the game, being three aspects of the game they want to improve, being the dual screen use, perfecting the level design, and then also the tone of the cutscenes. So, let's open it up. What do you guys think about the fact that this game is delayed to next year? Basically, what was their big game of the holidays is now no longer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm both surprised and I'm not. I'm not surprised because Star Fox Zero really did seem like it needed a little more time in the oven at E3. And even at PAX, I mean, of course, you guys went to the behind closed doors demo. I didn't, so I only played again what I played at E3. But it just didn't, it was fine, but it didn't wow me. So in that sense, I'm not surprised it's being delayed. On the other hand, like you just said, Star Fox Zero is all they had for the holidays, besides Xenoblade Chronicles X. And I guess Animal Crossing Amiibo Party, if you want to count that. But really, I mean,
and Mario Tennis.
And Mario Tennis, if you really want to count that. So, it's just like, I mean, their holiday is really looking to be one of the most barren in recent memory.
Consider Europe, and especially Japan, where 1 to 2 of those games have already come out there. There's like nothing in those regions.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Mewtwo amiibo, I guess.
Yeah, I guess for some that's probably a bigger deal, actually. Than
and there's the Falco amiibo, unless that's being delayed to coincide with Star Fox Zero's release.
Right.
Because that was originally going to be released alongside Star Fox Zero, so who knows now.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, again, we're talking about amiibo. I mean, that's the whole point, is that their holiday is so barren now.
Yeah.
Well, personally, I'm happy for the delay in a way, because you see the potential of Star Fox Zero in some really good levels that you play, then you see some other levels and it's like, I could be having more fun just playing Star Fox 64 on Virtual Console right now. And when you sort of see that, it's like, yeah, great, it's being delayed. I have a backlog, I can wait.
This actually caught me by surprise. I actually thought the game was ready to go, even though it did seem to be on an expedited development cycle. Maybe I should have expected this delay, but it did seem like they were making a conscious effort to get it out there as fast as possible. And so the fact that it is delayed is actually a little bit more concerning. But actually, when I played at PAX, we'll probably have a separate discussion about our playtime there. I actually was having a really good time with it. But the internet is a harsh mistress at times, and the feedback to Star Fox in general hasn't been great from commenters. And I'm wondering though if this delay is actually going to fix any of that, because most of the issues people have had with it pertain to the graphics. Like, that's the biggest issue, the cornerstone, and that's not something they mentioned here. Now, granted, maybe it's not something they would straight up admit anyway.
They say polishing. They say further polishing the level designs. That could be graphics.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess it could be.
I mean, I don't know. I think they're actually kind of setting themselves up for further, scrutiny from the internet, just because one of the reasons they stated they're delaying the game is to make the gamepad integration work better. And I've already been browsing NeoGAF, and already there have been a ton of people saying, hey, how about you just release the game this year and let me play the game on the TV? So, a lot of people are just like, you're delaying it for something that we don't even really care about anyway. Personally, I get what they're going for. I think I did get a little disoriented between the TV and the gamepad, looking between the two. But I can see why they're delaying it for that reason. That doesn't really bother me, but I don't think that's going to be how most fans feel.
So, that's what I'm trying to figure out. What does he mean by that comment? Because he does state that they want to work on areas such as the unprecedented discovery they want players to experience in the game by using 2 screens. Like, what does he mean by that? Because I can't imagine them changing the essence of how it works already. I think that's set in stone. And the only thing I can imagine is it ties into level design, which he goes on to mention already. I'm actually baffled by that gamepad comment, unless they're completely switching things up in a way I can't even imagine.
Or adding in more gamepad-specific sections in missions, maybe?
I mean, I guess that could be it.
I don't know. I mean, I agree. I don't know how they could possibly improve or change that beyond, what they're already doing with it. And I don't know. I mean, for me, my biggest problem with Star Fox Zero when I played it was not the I thought the graphics were fine. I thought it looked fine enough, and it was fun enough to play, but it just seemed to suffer from a lack of cohesive direction. There's just no confident kind of point to the whole thing. It just seemed kind of like a shaky retread of Star Fox 64 with new missions. And I know it's not just that, but it did feel so similar to Star Fox 64 that it didn't really feel like it stood out on its own. And that doesn't seem like that's going to change with the tweaks they're making, for the delay.
That's true. It did seem really similar, and it is interesting that he mentions cutscenes being a factor as well. Because from what we've seen so far, like, the story, it seems to be extremely similar to Star Fox 64. Like, they have quotes verbatim from Star Fox.
Yeah.
And it is a little bit concerning that the cutscenes are still a factor. Like, they're looking for the right tone. Like, I'm not, like, well, I mean, what did, like, I'm actually pretty much baffled by everything he says here. Like...
Yeah, I mean, and that's what's weird is that Star Fox as a series has really run the gamut from everything from cartoony and lighthearted to incredibly heavy-handed and really dramatic in a good way. So I really have no idea what they're going for with the tone of Star Fox Zero because it really could be anything.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, but so far it does just seem like it's kind of like a Star Fox 64, EX plus Alpha version. It's like it doesn't really seem like it's that different, and that's what I'm most concerned about.
They really need to get out of Croneria.
do.
Go somewhere else. Help some other, but not dinosaurs. Don't help them.
They really should. They should pick up, like, it should start like at Venom, and you work your way back to Croneria. Like, the original war was just a distraction while they actually invade Croneria. So to find your way back there.
It was General Pepper all along.
General Pepper's behind it all.
I'll tell you where it should start. It should start years later from the ending of Star Fox Command after Crystal has become cursed with a K, and show Fox like trying to find her, because that's just the most. Star Fox Command's endings were so dumb in the best way. I just wanted to extend off from one of those.
Yeah, that'd be kind of amazing.
Yeah,
I want to see what ends up happening because so at most this is a 4-month delay. They say it's coming Q1 now,
right? Unless
they delay it again, of course. 4 months isn't a ton of time to make dramatic changes.
Can't do major changes in 4 months in a AAA video game.
I would be interested to know what changes they were able to make Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze in that amount of time, because this is essentially an exact mirror of that delay. Because remember, Tropical Freeze is originally going to come out at the end of that year.
Yeah, that's true.
And then it was delayed to February, I believe. So this is almost, it's very similar, in terms of the time of the year and the amount of time that the game is being delayed. So I'd be curious as to what kind of changes they were able to make to Tropical Freeze in that time, because then we could kind of guesstimate what kind of changes they could make to Star Fox Zero.
Well, if Tropical Freeze is any indicator, Star Fox Zero is going to be amazing then.
That's true, yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not so sure that it is, but, I don't know. I clearly, Nintendo's not worried about the Wii U this holiday, I guess because they assume it's sold pretty much as well as it's going to. They don't really have any way to boost sales, in a huge way at this point. So I guess they're just like, well, we might as well make sure this game is as good as we can get it. And maybe they don't feel like Star Fox Zero was going to boost Wii U sales that much this holiday. And if that's the case, I agree with them. I don't think it was going to.
Yeah, I mean they already released their big holiday game of the year, and that's Super Mario Maker. That's by far the biggest game they have. Beyond that, Mario Tennis will sell fine, I'm sure. Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival will probably sell a stupid amount because it's Animal Crossing.
I mean, I would venture to say that Yoshi's Woolly World is actually a slightly bigger deal game than Star Fox. I hate to say that, but I wouldn't say that. Well, let me say I would say that in a vacuum. If it hadn't come out anywhere yet, I would say that. The fact that it's already been out in Japan and Europe, okay, but
I can see that. I might agree with that in that case.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, I gotta say, I'm just surprised that Miyamoto is able to even utter the word cutscene without having his head spin around his neck and start spontaneously combusting. This is Miyamoto we're talking about.
I know, right?
And he's able to say the word cutscene about a game he's making. He's supposed to be anti-cutscene, anti-story. I'm shocked.
Oh, yeah, that whole thing, I'm still baffled by what's he mean? The tone? What's wrong? The tone.
The whole thing is just weird. I don't know if that means it's too dark and they want to go more lighthearted, or it's too lighthearted and they want to go darker.
Yeah, maybe.
Nothing he's saying about Star Fox Zero makes sense right now.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I guess it is Platinum, right? Don't they do tend to do I guess slightly darker stuff. But Wonderful 101 wasn't really dark, though, was it?
No, maybe it's, but they do tend to go over the top, whether
that's
it's
true.
dark
Maybe
or
that
not.
could
So
be
maybe
it.
it's too over the top for them. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I mean, what we've seen so far it seemed pretty tepid, though. Like,
Yeah.
it really has seemed like, as you said, a Star Fox 64 remake. I mean, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm very curious to see what they end up doing those 4 months. But I find it interesting now that Nintendo has delayed their two biggest holiday titles that were originally scheduled for this year have now been delayed to next year, being Zelda Wii U and now Star Fox. So
I mean, on one hand, at least, 2016 is getting absolutely stacked with great games.
we were wondering about that before. We had a discussion about that. I think like what's coming next year, and now it's actually getting pretty loaded.
It turns out a whole lot is coming next year. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just hard to kind of figure out what's going to happen with Star Fox. It's just a strange thing.
It is.
I do have a question for you, though. I think the prevailing theory about kind of the marketing coinciding with Star Fox was that they were probably going to announce Wolf for Smash Brothers and release him somewhere later this year, closer to Star Fox. Of course, that's just speculation. But now, do you think if they were going to do that, do you think they're going to delay Wolf to next year?
I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like they would delay Wolf too,
right?
Assuming he's coming at all, which I think he is. But I think it would make sense to tie him into the. You know what? I don't know. It depends how they do it. I guess I could see them releasing it on the same schedule as they were originally, and at the same time providing an update on Star Fox Zero. Like a Nintendo Direct. Here's Wolf coming to the game, and here's what we're doing with Star Fox.
Yeah. I can see that too.
Yeah.
So do you think they'll delay the Falco amiibo, or do you think they'll release it on time in November?
Oh, Falco! So. I think he's still coming on time.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I think especially with physical products like that, like they've already started planning the release schedules of those far in advance. They can't just hold on to that inventory, so I'm sure he'll come out on time.
Well, I think the main point for that was just to have Falco out by Star Fox Zero, not necessarily along with it, but just before Star Fox Zero comes out.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I'd like to add the one thing I would like in Star Fox Zero. Another 15 years of quotes. Gotta have 15 years of new quotes in there.
Maybe that's it. Maybe that's what he meant tonally. They have to get the quotes just right. Like, following up Star Fox 64, like remaking that game, that's basically sacrilege. So they have to be careful. They are treading on thin ground here. They have to nail every quote in that game. Like, literally every quote, like, taken out of context, has to be repeatable. Like, or has to be repeatable out of context.
Well, I think the problem is that they might be trying to adhere to that too much, and what you're going to get is 15 years of old quotes. Because it really does seem like, from what we've played so far, that they are just directly quoting Star Fox 64 in a lot of instances. So I'm not so sure we're going to get a lot of new memorable quotes from this game. It almost seems like they're just trying to coast on some of the more iconic moments that Star Fox 64 brought to the series. Now, of course, this is all speculation. I don't want to sound like I'm too negative in the game, because it could end up being amazing and surprising the hell out of me. And I did like what I played at E3. I'm just saying it wasn't surprising. Mm-hmm. That's all.
Well, actually, you know what's interesting, too, is according to that, what was it, Chris Pranger interview they got fired for?
Yeah.
Didn't he announce, or didn't he say that they had already recorded, or at least started recording the lines for Star Fox?
Yeah.
So if they're changing the if they're still adjusting the tone, that presumably it sounds like they may have to re-record those lines. Maybe, I wonder, right?
Right. Yeah, that could be. No, the original Star Fox is a pretty dark game, so that's why I say like the series has really run the gamut in terms of presentation,
it totally
from lighthearted to heavy-handed. So
yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what Star Fox Zero, if it strikes a middle ground or what. But so far, it just seems to kind of not have its own identity yet.
So yeah, we'll see what happens here. I'm more intrigued now than I was before, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Alright, I think that wraps up for us here. Thanks guys for watching. If you liked our discussion, make sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain, which you can find links to in the description below. So we keep updated on everything we post. And of course, keep an eye on GameXplain for more on Star Fox Zero eventually, and other things gaming as well. Thanks guys. Bye.